Good morning, everyone. We're going to do these really fun paintings this morning. It's called The Hunt. All these riders and they're dressed in their beautiful red uniforms. Anyway, let's start with the drawing. I'm going to draw this first one for you so you can see the rider. You always start very light, with your pencil. Don't go in too dark, so much easier, to erase. And you could go back and make your corrections. So notice that the measurement from the top of the rider's head to the top of the horse's head is about the same, roughly, as the horse's head. If you look at the measurement from the top of the horse's head to the bottom of his mouth, you can see they're very close. Okay, and then look at, plumb a line down to the foot. You can see that the hoof, the horse's right hoof is just below, his nose, or a little bit to the left of his nose. And that all gives you a nice, size and gesture. Look at the gesture of the man sitting. He's leaning forward a little bit. The horse is tilted his head a little bit. See how his legs, the rider's legs, go over the horse. Okay, so you go in very light, like I said at first, always. Whenever you're drawing, even while you're painting, you go in light first, then you can correct it with the next step. Okay. Notice that negative shape between the horse's legs. That helps a lot in lining up the legs and where they go, and the knees. Notice the knees on the horses, how one's just slightly higher than the other. All of those things. So there it is. It's in there nice and light. So now I can go back in and make it darker. Okay, so there's the top of the horse's head, the ears. Notice that the head goes out a little bit to the eyes. See the line of the eyes, and then it comes back in down to the nose, and there's a small square at the bottom where his mouth is, and so forth. That'll help you a lot in determining where the horse's head is. And then you have that nice round belly coming to the top of the leg, the roundness of the rider's leg over the horse, the boots. All right, let's start painting. Just a quick wash of cobalt blue. I put a tint of Windsor blue in there as well for the sky. When that dries, I'm doing the trees in the back, and they're a combination of raw sienna and quin sienna. There's the quin sienna at the top. So I'm basically, again, I'm just painting the shape here. I'm going to go back in there. But right now I want to just get basically the shape of the trees. And go back in when it's wet. You can really make some nice texture on those trees and so forth. But right now I'm just trying to establish that shape. You can see I'm dropping in more paint here and there. Streak of raw sienna across the middle there, and I added just a touch of cobalt blue to it to get that darker color. All right, now I'm putting in the grass, and that is just yellow. I'm using Windsor yellow here and the cobalt blue teal to keep it bright. I added a little drop of cobalt blue to get it a little bit darker. A little bit stronger green there. Okay, there's a little slant to that tree line, which is nice. Just pop in. You don't have to be too careful with, worrying about painting around the horses, because the horses are very dark, and you can just paint right over that green. All right, and the rider themselves, that beautiful dark red. So you don't have to worry about painting around them that much. So you don't have to be too careful. So this little gray, there's a piece of road here, and I just popped in some cobalt blue and a little bit of raw sienna Now there's a dark shadow on some of this grass, which is cobalt blue and yellow. You can even use ultramarine and yellow if you want. It's a nice dark color. A little bit of raw sienna mixed in there. Streak of raw sienna right on the edge as the grass turns. So I'm going back in to the grass again. It takes a few layers, you know, if you want to get some nice texture. Painting some dark in there. That's just a little cobalt blue added to those colors of quin sienna and raw sienna. A little spray of water will help move it, you know, so get it going down, spread it around. And then what I usually do is take a towel and just tap it while it's wet, and you can really create some nice texture of trees and, you know, the edges of trees. And go back. If you want, you can take a credit card while it's moist. You don't want it to be too wet and you don't want it to be dry, but when it's moist, you can really scratch out some nice tree branches and trunks and so forth. So enjoy that. All right, I'm going to go in and just put in the faces of these riders, and that's just cadmium red, little water, just straight cadmium red. So it's a pink light. And now I'm going to paint the horses. The horses are just quinacridone, sienna, and ultramarine. And then every once in a while, if you want to warm the horses up, put a nice charge of cadmium red. You can see the horse I'm doing right here. On the left of the horse, you see where I hit that cadmium red. It really warms up the color nicely. It gives you that beautiful warm tone on the horses. So, all right, so I'm just going to move along here with the horses very quickly. They're all pretty much the same. You know, once you take your time with that first one, and you'll really learn the pattern of how to paint these horses coming at you. So it's just get that head straight, you know, get that head on there, and then the rest is easy with the legs. Just, you know, a little strange because the legs are, you know, crossing each other, and, you know, some of these shapes, they look a little different, but, you know, just, you know, don't worry about it and just get those nice colors in there, which really is important. And pay attention to the negative shapes between the legs. You know, if you get those, there's little pieces of white, and, you know, get those shapes in there. This front horse is a white horse, so I'm just putting a little gray, blue-gray on him. That's cobalt blue, maybe a little ultramarine even. All right, on the riders, their jackets are just straight just cadmium red right out of the tube here, and they're all, you know, all the same. A little bit of yellow collars on them, but just nice bright, and that's what makes this painting so much fun. You know, get that red in there. That red just jumps off the page. It's really a lot of fun. Okay, here's the others. That has a little yellow in it, so it's a little orange. Got a little more sunlight on it. And black helmets. You might want to put some shadow under these horses. I just mixed up a green with cobalt blue and yellow, a little drop of raw sienna in there. In between, you can really pretty much fill up all that shadow space. I'm going back in the trees again, putting a little shadow under the visor of the helmets on the horses, riders. You don't need much detail, so don't get all involved, and then don't miss. You got to put the boots on them. These riders have these, black boots, which are very impressive, and you want to make sure you get those in there. Going back in and putting more texture on the trees, much darker. Same colors as Quin Sienna and Raw Sienna, and a little bit of cobalt blue here and there. And I'm not worrying too much about, painting the trees as a tree. I'm just, basically, it's much easier to get the color in there first, like so, and then just take a towel and tap out the tops of the trees, the light side of the trees, where the light is hitting those trees. See, that's all. Makes it much easier. Okay, so here's the finished sketch. I did a little more work on the trees and so forth. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it, and I will see you again very soon.